Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Cancer, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will not solicit for private readings. I do offer private readings, and if you'd like to sign up for one, information about that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page. Cancer, today we're doing a special reading on what your guides would like you to know. So tapping into your spirit guides. Today we're going to be using the Elemental Oracle to pull an overall energy, and the Radiant Wilds Tarot for your tarot spread today. So Cancer, I hope that you're doing well. Sorry if I just shook the camera a little bit, just trying to orient myself at my desk here. So I actually chose a feather and this beautiful crackle aura quartz for your reading today. Don't know why I wanted to do that, just felt like the right thing to do. So we're just going to be asking your guides what they would like for you to know, because usually I tap into my guides. And probably your guides come through every once in a while, but I'm specifically asking what your guides would like to tell you. The first set of cards will be challenges and fears. The second set will be lessons, and the third set will be advice. Next steps and advice. So overall energy for Cancer, please. Overall energy for Cancer. Damn, Cancer. You got the moth energy. And maybe some of you have heard me talk about a tarot reader that I love to watch on YouTube, and her name is San Tarot. She always talks about the moth being this amazing kind of psychic underworld energy. The moth taps into that there's a complexity to this, right? When I look at it, I almost see that kaleidoscope, the kaleidoscopic effect of turning your gaze towards something and adjusting the kaleidoscope, and then just seeing this myriad of colors and shapes and configurations. And it's almost like you're adjusting your focus and you're adjusting your vision to see things in a different way. It's almost if your spirit guides have been speaking to you. Like, I'll give you an example. And I was with my mom. I had the day off today. I was with my mom, and we particularly saw a lot of number synchronicities on license plates. She's not really into things like this, but she even commented on how many 777s, 222s, 555s, 333s that we were seeing over and over and over again in all parts of the city. She's like, wow, there are just so many of them. And, you know, I just smiled to myself and was like, yeah, there are. You know, and it's like Spirit is showing you signs and synchronicities. Now that can look different for everyone, but it's harnessing this vision that your guides would like you to work on in the present moment. That it's really important, especially for Cancers who are almost, they have a proclivity, at least in my Cancer experience, that we've always had a proclivity towards kind of psychic vision and empathic vision. Your spirit guides want you to focus on that right now. It's like almost more important than ever. And, you know, just because we're looking at our intuition and our psychic vision doesn't mean that it has to exist only in a spiritual realm. I often use my intuition when I'm in a business setting. There's no greater BS detector, is there, than your own intuition. when you're listening to it, and when you can differentiate your intuition from your fear, or your intuition from a story that's been kind of repeated to you over and over and over, right? Those are different. So working on that seems to be really important. So let's see, I'm going to pull 6 cards, 3 cards for your main spread, 3 cards for clarifier. I'll probably end up pulling more just to clarify some more. Wow. First card that popped out was the Cancer card, Queen of Cups, but it popped out in reverse. So I just needed to point that out because it was Cancer. You showed up in your own reading. So 3 cards, please, Spirit, for the base spread. Lots of Swords energy, Cancer. Lots and lots of Swords energy. No major arcana. But with that Queen of Cups, you did show up. So this is the first time that I'm actually using this deck. First time ever. So I'm pretty excited. It's almost as if what shows up will be as much of a surprise to me as it will be for you. In challenges and fears, you got the Queen of Cups in the reverse, clarified by the Page of Swords. Actually, when I was out with my mom today, I saw a flower very much like this. So, Queen of Cups, Cancer energy. Cups represents the water element, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. By the time we get to the Queen, she is loving, giving, overflowing with compassion and empathy. She's often seen as a motherly figure of the suit, of the tarot, actually, besides the Empress and the major arcana. Queen of Cups talks about, somebody who gives to others, right? Kind of the caretaker in the Cancer way. But when we see her in the reverse, it's kind of like Spirit is telling me that your challenge right now is that you have been probably giving too much to others, and that what you need right now is to give unto yourself, and that part of that requires some curiosity as to what that looks like in this next phase of your life. Because I see the moon here, which also represents Cancer, can represent Pisces as well. And so it caused me to say the word, the next phase in your life, because I feel as though you're entering into a new phase. Maybe you don't even know where you're going, right? But it's almost like mirrored here. It's mirrored here. So the challenge right now is to explore new things, explore avenues of thought or action or learning that you've maybe only scratched the surface of. So it might require you to take a class, attend a lecture, read something new on a topic that you've never read before. There's exploration of the mind, right? The Swords suit is Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. It represents the air element. So anytime we're talking about the Swords suit, and you can see the flower where the head should be, right? We're talking about the thinking mind, the cerebral. It's almost as if the more you feed your mind, the more it will continue to blossom. It's interesting how this figure, she's kind of wearing a bathing suit of sorts that's made out of flowers, but for the most part, she's a silhouette. And I find that to be relevant to clarify this card in reverse, the Queen of Cups, because it's almost like it's like you're phasing in and out, like you're not the fullest version of yourself right now. With the moth energy, this feels like a kind of phasing out. You see how this yellow circle here, it's mirroring this one. These are two different decks. I see this, a lot of mirroring going on here, but it's almost like these colors, it's like you're phasing in and out. It's kind of morbid, but when you think about the moths, they don't live for very long. And the remnants of them, if you've ever, seen a moth, or if a moth has died and it just is sitting on a windowsill, for example, if you tried to clean it or pick it up, it's almost like powder. It's like ashes to ashes, dust to dust. It's like that kind of energy where it's like blink and it's gone. So, sorry. I'm sorry, Cancers. Apologize for that. I had to turn my phone off to do not disturb because I was afraid. It was almost like I was afraid that something was going to interrupt this process. So it's that there's something so powerful about the moth energy, but in the same breath, it's delicate and fleeting, especially as the moth is driven to the flame, right? Like it's kind of a weird facet of nature why the moth would have, for all intents and purposes, like a death wish or something. Like, why would a moth be attracted to a flame? Why would it have that drive? I don't know. Maybe you know what that reason is. I don't know what the reason is, but it feels relevant right now. Almost as if, like, if you're going after something at the expense of your health or your well-being, your sanity is what I just heard. It's almost like, are you gearing yourself towards going to the flame and kind of obliterating in your face, So that's the challenge right now. And you need to take care of yourself. What's the lesson from this? You got a lot of swords energy, and I identify with this. Lots, you're just up in your head, Cancer, and it's not where we're comfortable. We're comfortable in the feelings. We're comfortable in the subconscious and unconscious realms, in the mystical, in the magical, right? What's the lesson here? Ten of Swords. You can see how tremendously isolating this card looks. This figure inside of the box, that the lesson here is, how have we kind of put ourselves in the corner, or boxed ourselves in? How have you boxed yourself in right now? And clarified by the Two of Swords in the reverse. So kind of the lesson here is that all of this overthinking, right? Two of Swords can be deliberation. It's almost like you're trying to cross this path. It's almost like, I don't know, this is really aging me, but there was a game in the 80s on the old Atari systems, and it was called Frogger, and it was like a frog just trying to cross like 10 lanes of traffic. That was the entire game. And so I see that game now, like you're trying to cross over to this portal where, perhaps your guides have been waiting for you, right? And through that deliberation, it just caused a lot of anxiety, stress, disappointment, confusion, isolation, alienation. This is the lesson though, right? It's almost as if Spirit's kind of saying to me, it was the act of thinking and rethinking and overthinking and overanalyzing that put you in this place in the first place. It's almost like your thoughts put you in that box. And they're saying, free yourself, Cancer. I'm going to actually pull another card. Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. So typically the Nine of Pentacles would talk about an energy of independence. The Spirit is saying it's time for you to ask for help. Yes, you are a very independent person. This is pre-Empress energy. Independent, successful, attractive, etc., etc. But it's almost like they're asking you to, it's interesting, the clothing here, it looks like an X, but it also looks like it could be like an hourglass. So maybe you thought that right now, maybe you feel like you're running out of time, like you should be further along in your life than you are, that you feel like something or someone has wasted your energy and wasted your time. And to a certain extent, you helped that to become a reality in your life. You know, maybe you were waiting and waiting and waiting for someone else to free you from this box, when all the while you had the ability to do that. But Spirit is saying, ask for help. It's time. You know, that's the lesson, isn't it? Because if we're constantly used to being the overgivers of the zodiac, which Cancers are known for, right, to their detriment, then it would be foreign to ask for help. But Spirit is saying it's absolutely vital that you call upon the people and situations in your life that can make your existence a little bit more streamlined, a little bit easier. You know, it's really interesting. You did get this card in the reverse showing me that you have made certain decisions, which is great. It's great. But I can't, this checkered floor, anytime I see any kind of checkered designs in just life in general, but I think of a couple things, right? You think of a checkerboard or a chessboard. But for me, I think of Freemasonry, the Freemasons, and how the Freemasons are so steeped, they're so steeped in esoteric concerns, right? It's a very spiritual organization, and there's a lot of mysticism, and I just saw a construction truck just drive by, and it just said anchor in gigantic letters. So that is a sign for you. Maybe you'll see from your guides will show you a literal anchor. You know, it's kind of like rooting you or grounding you to something. If you're feeling kind of out of control, or like you don't have any recourse, you know, that Spirit is your anchor. Spirit is the thing is the entity to which you can tether yourself to, right? Your guides are there to assist you. Ask them for help. This is what they just said to me. It's not just ask any old body, ask them for help. Because here I see this, it represents in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, this character is holding onto a falcon. But for me, it reminded me of Spirit, like the Holy Spirit. So, kind of like Indiana Jones. I always bring up Indiana Jones, but X marks the spot. It's like there's treasure there. There's treasure. The lesson is that there's treasure in the gesture of asking for help. It's your gold mine. It's your answer, right? So your next steps and your advice from your guides Well, I see the 5 of Swords here, and it's clarified by the 9 of Wands. Sorry, I'm getting a little too close. The 9 of Wands in reverse. You got it in reverse, but this is the card in the upright. So let's talk about the fives are, you know, fives. I saw 555 twice today on different license plates. 555 or fives can represent a period of transition where, you know, it's interesting here though. There are 3 characters and 2 cactuses. Right? It's not represented by 5 characters, so it's almost like you picked 2 of them off and turned them into something else. So if we're talking about Swords energy, by the time we reach the 5 and we're fighting this battle, it's almost like we have to somehow take the upper hand, and this is your advice from your guides. It's time that you take the upper hand, not to the detriment of or to the harm of anyone else. That's not what we're talking about. But it's time, Cancer, that you asserted yourself with a much bigger gesture than you have been. It's not enough to just be the nice guy. There's nothing wrong with being the nice guy, but sometimes you could miss out on opportunities that are meant for you. Maybe because I can see that you're like exhausted. 9 of Wands. 9 of Wands in the upright is somebody who is exhausted but is willing to get up and move and keep going, keep the train going. But in the reverse, 9 of Wands is like, whatever is your current situation right now, it's not ideal, or it's not where your spirit guides think that you could go because you're so tired. So it's time to kind of make things easier on yourself. The 5 of Swords energy finds the advantage and capitalizes on it. So let's get a clarifier. Clarify the 5 of Swords, please, Spirit. Okay, you got a lot of cards here. 4 cards. I'm going to pull them all. The Justice card in the reverse. The 7 of Swords in reverse. Okay, they wanted to clarify the 5. The Emperor. Amazing. And the 10 of Cups. That's bliss. Okay, so let's talk about it. I asked for clarification for the 5 of Swords because it felt a little, you know, it's not a message that I normally get with, you know, Cancer. You need to kind of buckle down and capitalize on something. That's not necessarily a message that my guides would often give me to take advantage of a situation. So that's why I asked for clarifiers, and they did clarify. Justice card in reverse, major arcana representing Libra. They don't do anything that risks your karma. Karma is swift and will kick you. It's like, it will just, have you ever seen that video of this dude that is cutting down a tree? And I guess that tree was angry because the minute it got cut down, the tree right next to it fell on him. He was fine, but it fell on him. Right? Whatever it is that you're taking advantage of the situation, not necessarily of a person, but of a situation. Don't risk your karma. You still need to behave on the up and up. You still need to behave with integrity, or else it's going to come back to bite you, just like this 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords can talk about very trickster energy. Truly finding the... I mean, it's interesting, this image, though, it's not quite this impression of the 7 of Swords that it would normally give. It's like taking swords from the enemy camp, and to take the advantage. And Spirit saying, nope, 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 we're not taking from others. It's not about taking from others. Let us be very clear. Could not be any clearer. Could not be any clearer. Yes, we want you to find an easier path for yourself, but not at the expense of your karma, your karmic energy. Because it's just about working smarter, not harder, but really, really considering what that means. What does it mean in whatever realm you're working in? If we're talking about a family situation, a business endeavor, a relationship, or whatever, what does it mean to work smarter, not harder? Because ultimately, when you find that sweet spot, the Emperor shows up, right? It's boss energy. It's in being in control, knowing who you are, having confidence. This kind of, this beautiful owl sitting on top of the Great Pyramids is just absolute cosmic wisdom. And Earth is the celestial body in the background. And here's that checkered floor again. There's something, I don't know if you have a connection to Freemasonry, or images, symbols of the Freemasons, right? What do you have? The symbols, so many that are also mirrored in the tarot, but you know, the first and foremost, I'm thinking of the compass, the great compass. Sometimes I think it's a protractor, but I've been told it's a compass, right? Or if you see this as a game board, a playing field, you know, like taking the calculated, strategic steps towards it, that Spirit wants you to be precise, and it leads to this amazing 10 of Cups, right? Keep streamlining your processes, right? And remember your moth energy. It started with the moth. All of this comes back to getting back in touch with yourself. It's the Queen of Cups, getting back in touch to the core of your love, your psychic energy, your intuition, those watery depths, because there's way too many swords. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 swords cards. Justice is an air sign energy, right? There's too much thinking, like with the rational mind. There needs to be a little bit more wonder and mystery and magic with you right now. So ask your guides for help to access those magical realms, and the answers will appear. This is very, very, this is not otherworldly energy, although it can seem like it with this particular deck. But the Emperor and the 10 of Cups, we're talking about the material world and you being in control of your good fortune. So, but it starts with you and it ends with you. And the key right now, your guides are saying, consider the moth. So that's your reading, Cancer. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe to this channel, comment down below, hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Cancer.